Blindsided, 31 male, by open relationship request after 7 years at a vulnerable time. Now she, 31 female, is backtracking completely. Can I still trust her? Should I end it? May 7th, TLDR, girlfriend, early 30s female, randomly asked me, early 30s male, for open relationship after 7 years together, 5 weeks before I graduate from grad school and move across the country to be with her. WTF? Setup. I've, early 30s male, been in a monogamous relationship, early 30s female, for nearly 7 years. Long distance the past two. I moved across the country for grad school. We'd long planned for me to move in with her after I graduate, 5 weeks from now, and I've been looking for a job in that city. She's great, and I'd been thinking about proposing to her this year. The ask. 4 days ago, and 5 weeks before I graduate, I visit her for 24 hours on my way elsewhere. 1 hour before I'm set to leave, and several hours after we hooked up, she nervously brings up the topic of whether we should try having a don't ask, don't tell open relationship for the next 5 weeks until I move in. Says she's been thinking about it a lot and we could make various ground rules. Says she's been feeling more confident lately, has been out recently and getting some attention and liked it. She specifically mentioned that when she was in another city at a bachelorette party, she got hit on by guys from a bachelor party, could tell they, or someone in particular, wanted her and she liked it. And her libido's been much higher, and she's curious about other men and having other experiences. Also, I can't please her because I'm not there, and she needs to feel sexually desired. She used to think sex and emotions were intertwined, but now she can see it as just sex. Also said maybe she's a little nervous about our upcoming move-in together. Said I could hook up with other people too during it. Said she's not campaigning for it, and if I don't want to do it, we won't, and that our relationship comes first. I try to understand. We've never talked about this before, and this request is incredibly out of character for her. Something I'd never have imagined. First, I tried to understand where she's coming from. It's true, I've been more withdrawn from her recently, as I do have some significant doubts about our relationship, and she has picked up on that. I've probably also been nervous about moving in together. After further conversation, it was revealed that she feels neglected by me and not desired, has since said she recently felt treated like a piece of furniture. I empathize with that, but she hadn't brought this up to me such that I could acknowledge and fix it. My reaction. After talking on the phone a lot for the next 2 days, I just felt confused, sad, and angry. While I agree I had been withdrawn, I felt like her ask was way out of proportion to that. While I suppose it's good that she didn't go out and cheat on me, I think it was a ridiculous context to suggest an open relationship. If we ever did that, we would have to be in a strong, stable place in our relationship with lots of forethought and communication. But to suggest a don't ask, don't tell, one heterosex pass out of nowhere for the first time ever, nearly 7 years into a relationship, after 2 years of long distance, 5 weeks before I'm moving my life to her, a vulnerable situation for me, and 1 hour before I leave and won't see her again until she flies to my graduation, as a solution for her newfound sexual confidence and desire for other men, combined with her doubts about me. Not what I had in mind. I have my doubts too, but I've been fending attractive women off while in school, a fact I never mentioned to her. And here I was getting initial engagement, ring tips from friends while she's strategizing how she can get my permission to have sex with other guys. And it's not as if we haven't spent any time together in 2 years. I lived with her the past summer for the month of December, and we saw each other for 7 and 5 days, respectively, in February and March. Her backtracking. I've since made it clear I'm not okay with this setup, and that the way this was handled has severely damaged my trust in her. Told her I'm not sure if I can recover trust and confidence in the relationship and that I'm sorting through it. But I may not want her to come to my graduation, and I'm probably not moving in with her in 5 weeks. She has since panicked and is now completely backtracking and in relationship saving mode, said she couldn't sleep. She's sorry she made a mistake. She loves me and wants to be together and is afraid of losing me. She traveled 4 hours round trip, see me face to face a few days later as I was heading back to school after a friend trip. Says she doesn't want an open relationship anymore and just wanted to feel desired and was just insecure about whether I wanted her and had this inexplicable reaction to it that she is now herself trying to understand. Said she was afraid to confront me with how she felt because she might push me away, as if asking for an open relationship was less risky, or maybe would find out the truth was I didn't love and desire her enough. Said she understands all that now after talking with some friends about why she asked for this, which she hadn't done before. All this is a very different narrative than the one she first gave about wanting other men, and maintained for 2 days until it became clear this was a deal breaker for me, at which point the whole story changed. So, I'm having trouble believing it. It's awful that I now feel like she's not being honest with me about what she wants. I have so many doubts. Did she already hook up with someone and is looking for justification? Adamantly says she didn't. I guess I believe her. Is there a certain person she wants to bang? She is going back to the city where she met the guys at the bachelor party later this month, so there could be a guy there, although her parents also live there, so it's unclear. She says she doesn't have someone in mind. Am I sexually inadequate for her? Is it because I'm in slightly less good shape than I was a year ago? She really wanted me to visit her before the friend trip I went on. Was the whole point of it so that she could make this request in person? Has she been thinking about this for years, but is pretending she's only been thinking about it for a month? Was this an attempt to play the field and find something better while still having our relationship for security? How was she suddenly okay with the idea of me hooking up with other girls at school when a year ago it seemingly would have crushed her? If I forgive her and we get back together, how do I know that once the fear of losing me goes away, she won't want that again and either ask for it or just cheat because she worries I'll end it if she suggests it? How can I trust what she's saying now when this whole situation suggests that either she's lying now out of fear of losing me, or if not, then she's telling the truth but didn't have enough self-confidence or didn't trust me enough to tell me before that she needs more affection from me, and instead jumped directly to the idea of banging other guys. Or maybe she's just telling the complete truth, and it's all because I wasn't making her feel desired. That is my fault? Unsure. It's been 4 heart-wrenching days since she suggested it, and I'm not sure what I'm doing to do. She is campaigning hard to make everything like it was before, but I'm not ready for that and not sure I want to stay together. Advice? Is anyone who's had a remotely similar experience is willing to share insights? I have almost no data points for this situation in my life. Thanks. Update 1. I will now forever believe in the power of collective relationship advice wisdom. And please know that the non-monogamy sub where I first posted this is full of biased advice. The certainty of basically everyone here that she had either banged someone or was planning to bang someone in particular led me to adamantly stick to my guns. For an hour straight, I told her I didn't believe her. This story doesn't make sense. This story doesn't make sense. Finally, she said, I need to get off the phone and I'll call you back. When she did, she admitted that she did have someone she was targeting. The bachelor party story had actually been a lie, and she had gotten dinner with her ex-boyfriend on one of these trips and hung out with him a few other times there. She wanted to ask permission because has been planning to fly to LA to see her parents later this month, but was actually planning to see where it went with Mr. Ex-boyfriend. She still insists that she never did anything with him, but was planning to and wanted my permission. Nope, I'm too emotionally worn out to do anything but laugh right now. Kudos, Reddit. Also, she said in that conversation earlier that she has not been texting with the guy since she last saw him a couple weeks ago. Seems like I am getting a trickle truth. When on the phone, I said, I'm going to ask you something unusual. Right now, go into your messages and screenshot the latest conversation with him and send it to me. She said, I deleted them all. I didn't want to look at them anymore. With my newfound wokeness, this reek of bullcrap. You've been fantasizing about hooking up with this guy enough that you're risking our relationship to do it, and you haven't been in touch with him at all in weeks. You have a plan to go down there for a specific weekend in a couple weeks, but how do you know he's even going to be there then? You have to have been in touch with him or already planned this rendezvous. Update 2. At the risk, certainty of seeming spineless or hypocritical or both, I'm going to provide a counterpoint to my own argument below. I'm sure I'll get flamed. Glad I'm anonymous, right? Her. She has always had serious problems confronting me with issues and concerns in our relationship. I have no problems asking for what I need, but it's very difficult for her. This is also true for her in other situations, such as at work or with her family, etc. She has said in the past, way before this ever came up, and also recently, that she feels like she can't ask me for what she needs because she's afraid she'll push me away or discover that I don't love her enough. I think this is 100% true. She is truly a great, good individual. She cares deeply about her family. She's been a very good girlfriend to me over the past 7 years. She almost worships me sometimes, which is kind of a problem in that it gives me too much power in the relationship. And I've told her many times that I don't want it that way. It makes it harder to fully love and respect her. I honestly believe she's been feeling lonely, slightly neglected, and deprived of her two most important love languages, touch and quality time. I think she truly is just somewhat starved for what she needs, and this other guy was present, interested, and nourished her, hopefully not with bodily fluids. I always knew a phone relationship would be hard for her. So, when I view her as a human being with needs and not as a thoughtless, vicious person, which she's not, I can see her position here completely. I wouldn't handle it the same way as she did, but it is likely this is a reaction to her needs. Also, I have been very non-committal on my future with her, and I think she's a little nervous before I move in, whether I care about her enough, whether I can give her the love and validation she craves. The other day, the one thing she said she needs from me is for me to look at her like I love her, like she's important, like she's someone special that I'm lucky to be with. Even writing this breaks my heart with empathy and makes me feel like a monster for not making her feel special. She is trickle-truthing about the other guy, and I'm sure there's still more truth to come, but I do honestly think she's still withholding information because she's terrified to lose me. Me. I have been neglecting her somewhat lately. She definitely reaches out to me more often, makes sure we talk on the phone, texts me, etc., tells me she misses me, sends me emojis. She is the heartbeat of our relationship, sets the pace, and I sometimes reluctantly follow like a half-content child, giving limited emotion and feedback. I was sort of aware of this problem, but I didn't realize how deeply it affected her and was stressed at school. I even forgot to call her on her birthday a month ago, although it's not totally unheard of for me historically, though never with her. The God-honest truth is my eye has also been straying. There's one girl at grad school who I know likes me, who has a boyfriend elsewhere, but I am pretty sure she'd be more into me if she could get me. I haven't done anything. but I have thought about her sexually a fair amount, and I talk to her when she's at events, which we have a lot of. I haven't planned anything, but I guess I've put myself out there subtly a few times to see if she's interested. Finally, and here's where I'll get maybe the most flamed, I made out with another girl at a bar in 2014, and I cheated on her in a one-night stand in 2016 with a coworker. I was completely trashed, which doesn't forgive it. I felt absolutely terrible about it, got tested, distanced myself from the coworker, and felt shame. I never told her about it. I can say it was further in the past than what she just did, which is true, but still unforgivable and damaging. I finally told her the truth about this last night because I had started to feel like a complete hypocrite. Question: how does this new information change people's perspective? Burn me alive, I sort of deserve it. Update 3. A cheating reaction. She was upset to learn that I cheated unforgivably on her naturally. But when I told her on May 7th, shortly after she told me she had targeted her ex for the hookup, it's odd. She sounded surprised, but there was a tinge of almost happiness in her voice, like she was trying to sound upset, but was actually kind of excited. I've seen her cry 100 plus times easily, and if something devastates her, she sobs and slumps. But she was shrill and started talking really fast and grilling me on it and trying to find all the reasons it was worse than what she did. It's either because she thought this would make us even and I won't break up with her, or because it absolves her of the guilt she's still carrying from what she still hasn't told me. Or I'm just paranoid at this point. Status: I haven't definitively broken up with her, and we argue on the phone every day now, but I'm now planning to move in with a friend in that city instead of with her. I'd be moving there even if she didn't exist. I can't move in with her or move forward until she tells me the full truth, which I don't believe she has. My suspicions are the same as in Update 1. Plan: I said to her at the end of our call today, if there's more to the story with this guy than you're telling me, I might be able to get over it if I believe it'll never happen again. But there's no way I can be with you if I don't trust you. And right now, I don't trust that you've told me everything. So, think about whether you have something more to tell me, and in a few days, we'll talk about this again. Probably won't work. Think she can get away with it now and that we'll still get back together as my suspicion fades. But I know in my gut that she's still lying. Quite a bad liar, actually. I shared my location with her on Find My Friends today, which I would never do before, as an effort to build trust bridges. Hey, I cheated on her once, so not judging yet. She said that would seem like too intense and heavy-handed for her right now, so she doesn't want to do that. Probably fair, although now I'm picturing her banging that guy because he happens to be in her city or something in my head. I just checked and she still follows the guy on Instagram, whatever that means. I should ask to check those messages too. Let's see comments, edit, saw OP's update. So, the party was a lie. Going to see her parents was a lie. Everything about why she wanted an open relationship was a lie. She admitted to wanting to give another go with her ex after 7 years with OP, 5 weeks before he moves there. Who does that? Especially if nothing happened between them. She admitted to hanging out with ex a few other times too. I doubt nothing happened with her and her ex so far. I'm sorry for OP. I believe that nothing may have happened at that party, but it's possible something could have. I think what happened is that she got hit on. Maybe they kissed, who knows, maybe more, but they exchanged numbers. Then they spent all that time texting and sexting and growing closer. And now she wants him so bad that she's willing to let her boyfriend F someone else, where before just thinking about it would break her. She likely also thinks it's not going to happen, BF sleeping around, as it's only for 5 weeks, the open relationship. But it's enough time for her to go and see that guy she likes and F's him. That's also why she wants a dad arrangement, so OP doesn't find out it was already in works and it was the guy from the party. Maybe she even wants a chance to monkey branch off OP with him. Who knows, living apart all this time. Right before he moves to be with her, spend time around her, and see all that's going on, she asks for the relationship to be opened. Yeah, this is not looking good, to be honest. This seems more like her not wanting to give up some stuff that possibly has been going on already. I could respond to your post point by point. I could make long explanations of the logic behind what I am about to say, but I will keep it short because it shouldn't even need to be said. She is already screwing someone. Don't ask, don't tell? That isn't how open relationships work. That is how cheating works. She has already been screwing guys, and if not, can't bear to wait 5 weeks for you? She at least has already been talking to and sexting the guy. Someone is lined up. Oh, you have a pass? Like you are supposed to be able to find time to use it when you are graduating and in the process of moving. But most likely, she smashed the guy from the party that night and wants a pass to do so for 5 more weeks. Do not move in with her. Focus on your career and saving money instead of marrying some tramp that will suck all of your money dry while keeping you from making the appropriate career moves, only to find out that she is cheating after you have a kid and are trapped into years of child support and alimony. Let's see another story. Confused about the open relationship, my 27 male fiance, 25 female, pressured me to accept. Hey everyone, I've been in this situation for the past few months, and I'm having a bit of a hard time understanding what's going on. I've read some other posts about open relationships on this subreddit, so I know what most people are going to say, but I promise that this is not like those other situations, so please read to the end. I'm genuinely confused and completely lost right now, and I'm having a really hard time figuring out where I stand. This is probably going to be pretty long, so I really appreciate it if you can read until the end. Some backstory. My fiance and I were neighbors growing up and have been best friends since I was 8 years old and starting dating when I was 15 and she was 14. We have been together ever since without ever breaking up, and we got engaged about 1.5 years ago, although we haven't really been in any rush to get married. Admittedly, part of the reason why I haven't been as enthusiastic about actually getting married is because of this whole situation. Also, it's important to note that since we've been together for so long, we were each other's first kiss, relationship, and pretty much everything else. Now, on to the situation. So in January of this year, she sat me down and told me that she thought it would be a good idea to try having an open relationship, at least until we got married. I was very taken aback and pretty hurt about the fact that she would even consider it, much less suggest it. I've always thought our relationship and our sex life were pretty great, and we'd never discussed anything like that before, even during the year of long distance we did between my college graduation and hers before we started living together 3 years ago. I initially said no right away because I didn't want to ever think about her being with someone else, and I also wasn't really interested in being with someone else either. I always thought we had a sort of fairy tale love story, and I didn't want that to be tainted, which I know is a pretty weird way to think. Anyway, after I said no, she worked really hard to convince me over the next few days. She brought up how I'd get to explore other people and kinks, although we've never been shy about exploring stuff before. She also made a big point about how she felt bad about how she had denied me the opportunity to experience what it was like to be with other people. The entire time, she only ever talked about how good it would be for me and never said anything about how it would be good for her. At the time, I thought it made sense since she was trying to convince me, and I figured she was probably projecting her feelings on me. I probably should have just left the relationship and broke off the engagement at that point, but I truly believe that this woman is the love of my life. I was afraid that she might end up leaving me if I didn't give her what she wanted, so in the end, I accepted it. However, I made sure to set ground rules involving other partners, mainly that we can never bring them home. We aren't allowed to catch feelings. We aren't allowed to spend more than one night at a time outside of the home. We must always use protection, and that we must be open and honest about everything. Basically, we have to tell each other what exactly we were planning to do with someone else and what happened. She was more than happy to accept these rules, and I tried to not feel so weird about it. Now, here's where things get weird. I know most people assume that she started going out on dates or already had someone lined up, but that didn't happen at all. In fact, nothing changed. She wasn't going on dates. She wasn't hooking up with anyone. And as far as I could tell, she wasn't on any sort of dating apps. Our sex life stayed the exact same, maybe even improving slightly, and we were still having sex almost every other day. I know some people might think that she was just doing things behind my back, but we both work from home, and we rarely spend more than an hour apart from one another. Our friends jokingly call us codependents all the time because we never go anywhere without the other, unless it's something like a doctor's visit. I've also used her phone to do random things and have never seen a dating app installed. At first, I thought that she might just be waiting for me to get started, but even when I did start looking for dates a few months in, she still didn't start herself. She'd actually ask me pretty frequently if I'd found anyone yet, and always seemed disappointed when I said I hadn't. I didn't have a whole lot of luck at first, although I also wasn't really trying all that hard. About 3 months into really starting to try, though, I finally got a date with another woman, and my fiancée seemed really excited for me when I told her. I went out with her, and although she seemed like a fun person, I was thinking about my fiancée the entire time, and I couldn't really get into it. I was checking her location the entire time, nervous that she might be out with someone else, but she was just sitting at home. Once I came back from the date, though, she asked me all about it, and we had some of the best sex we'd ever had that night. I sort of got paranoid after that, and I ended up checking our Ring doorbell. She hadn't left and no one had come over, as far as I could tell. I thought maybe she might start looking for other partners as well, but she still didn't. She seemed pretty disappointed when I told her that I wasn't going out with the other woman again, though, and even pressed me a bit to try seeing her again, but I told her to let it go, and she was fine with it. At this point, I was getting really confused why she hadn't even tried to start seeing someone else. My fiancée is very attractive and frequently gets hit on by other men whenever we go out. I used to always joke with her about how she was so out of my league, and I was lucky that we got together when we were so young because I'd have no chance with her now, but I stopped when she started getting upset with me every time. Still, I continued looking for other women using some dating apps, and eventually I found another woman who was interested in me. We went out again, but I pretty much felt the same way. This time, however, we ended up kissing her, and I felt really weird at the end of it, like it was just wrong. My fiancée was once again very happy for me when I came home, so I decided this time I'd tell her I was going to try going out on a second date with the woman. I was thinking that maybe if I told my fiancée I had sex with another woman, she would start exploring her options herself. I did end up going on that date, but I didn't actually have sex with her. I just went over to her house after dinner, talked for a bit longer, and went home. Once again, when I got home, my fiancée was all excited about hearing about the date, and once again, we had really great sex that night. I did feel bad about lying to her about having sex with another woman, but at this point, I was so confused I was just trying to figure something out. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, things have been really great in our relationship, and there hasn't been any problems. Besides my fiancée once again pressuring me to go out with that other woman again. I've told her that I'll think about it, even though I'm not really interested in doing so. However, the thing that's really getting to me is how she still hasn't made any effort to look for anything on her side. Even now, I'm just really confused by this whole thing. Why would she pressure me into an open relationship if she isn't interested in finding someone else? Is she doing it all behind my back and hiding it? I really don't understand how she would, but maybe I'm missing something? What do I do here? TLDR. My fiance pressured me into opening up our relationship, but she still hasn't gone and found other partners even 10 months later, and I'm confused.